Hello, my loves. I'm Ellie Frost. Thank you so much for being here, where we are talking about the multi-dimensional approach to rapidly and radically healing and transforming during and after narcissistic abuse. And this video is about why the narcissist moves so fast in the relationship, right? Narcissists force relationships, and when they've got their eyes on you and want to get their hooks in, energetically, physically, financially, what they will do is fast track the relationship very often, right? So that you don't have a time to really feel and think how you're feeling. Yeah, it's all happening so fast. They'll do things that are not really appropriate early on, like often introduce you to like family members, and they'll want to portray an image of like how perfect their life is, and friends, maybe they'll introduce you to friends really fast, and so you'll think you're really important to them because they're doing things that people would do normally if they're very invested in the relationship at the beginning. Narcissists will also force a relationship. It's very sticky with narcissists. They like to put you in fear, obligation, and guilt, right? I do have a whole module on this in my program Sovereign, where I talk about how like you feel obliged because they keep messaging you, or they're not getting the hint, right? Maybe I know that there was a woman that was a narcissist that was really forcing a friendship with me, and I was so sticky. Like, she kept asking me for my number and I didn't know how to say no, and like, you know, she could tell I was squirming and was uncomfortable, but they don't care. They know who they want to target, and they know who is going to be more easy to target, right? Who's got more empathy, they know they're making you feel awkward, and they know they're forcing the relationship, but they're looking to siphon your life force energy and give you the impression that, you know, you're in something that's a bit harder to get out of, basically. So, I mean, to the narcissist, you're an object, like people say, a source of supply, so they can siphon your life force energy. They will siphon your resources, energetically, spiritually, emotionally, yeah, so that you're invested in this relationship, or you're kind of on this roller coaster, and before you know it, you feel really obliged to that you owe the narcissist something, or that now they've just kind of got an important role in your life that maybe you didn't fully agree to. It just kind of like happened, right? And when we're like lonely, or you know, we want to make friends and that kind of stuff, like having someone who gives us that sort of attention during the love bombing stage can be really, really you know, enticing for us, because it's normally, you know, when there's a gap in our life that the narcissist comes to fill it. Not always, though. You might have really healthy relationships and you could still be targeted by a narcissist, right? So the thing to do is take your time in relationships. Don't overinvest, and be mindful of these tactics. I know there was a guy that was a narcissist that I was sort of working with, and he would move people into his house really quickly. He also would use we language really quickly. So he'd say to me things like, oh no, we've got to do this in the summer, we've got to do that. So it's kind of part of the future faking, but it's also getting your kind of subconscious to think that you are now invested in the narcissist, because that's where they want you, right? Basically being a battery source of supply to them. Yeah, your energy, your focus, your attention, the trauma bond, all of that is ways in which they lock you into a relationship and then can siphon your energy in the psychic realm. So he was using, like, you know, I was quite touched at the time when he kept saying we, because I thought, well, you know, he sees us having a future together and being really good friends and all that stuff. But what he was really doing was manipulating me, right? Making me over invest in him and be involved in a dynamic that I hadn't really consented to. I'd just been sort of railroaded into. So if you have experience of this, please write it in the comments. I'd love to hear, like, have you been railroaded into a relationship? I talked in an earlier video about a narcissist friend that I was trying to unmess from, and she obviously wasn't getting the hint, because the narcissist is sticky. They won't let you go until they're ready to discard you, right? But I'd asked her just to give me a break. I didn't want her, you know, in my life. I needed some space, basically. She's very toxic, and she left some flowers on my doorstep, knowing that that would put me in the fog. Fear, obligation, and guilt. That I would feel now obliged to say thank you. I'd feel guilty because she's being a nice friend, and I was scared of what would happen next. The fear of what will happen next and what the narcissist will do if you don't do what they want you to do is always underlying in this dynamic, right? The walking on eggshells, the fear of they could do something worse, or something could happen, because it's such a roller coaster ride of abuse. It's such a high then low. Abuse would not work if it was just abuse, so they build you up and they crash you down, right? So a lot of us live in the fear of what will happen next, and so therefore we go along with falling the narcissist or the pace of a relationship that isn't actually suiting us. And this can happen also physically, sexually. They might be very fast on that front as well, which gets people locked in very quick as well, because once you get intimate with someone, well, women produce oxytocin, which means that we actually form a bond chemically. I'm not saying that men don't form a bond, I'm sure they do as well, but we actually have a chemical that makes us, especially if we're low in oxytocin and we have sex with someone, that really affects that and affects our feelings towards the person that we might not actually truly feel. It's just a chemical response when women have sex. And of course, men have feelings, obviously, when they have sex, they just don't have oxytocin. So women are wired to form a strong bond with someone that they're sleeping with. So if the narcissist has sort of got you into a physical relationship sooner than you'd have liked, then that's because it's going to, man and woman, make you more attached, right, to them. So they force and they railroad, and they do things that are actually inappropriate so soon, like introduce you to family, friends, start making plans or talking about future together, like very, very early on. Now, this is not to say this can't happen in a healthy dynamic, because it can. You can fall in love with someone and they can be a non-narcissist, right? And it can be perfect. But like, narcissists do not want you to think straight. They will isolate you from their friends. They will railroad you. They will get you on the merry-go-round with them as quickly as possible, so they can, it's all part of the love bombing and hoovering stages, right? So that then you're invested emotionally, spiritually, sexually, sometimes financially, yeah? And then you're locked in and it's harder for you to get away. They do create traps. The narcissist creates so many traps. I've got videos on that. But like, it's a trap with a narcissist. It's to trap you, because they know at some point you will wake up to who they are. And the more you are invested in them, the harder it will be for you to get away. So I hope you like this video. Sovereign is on discount this month, guys. Please email me. It's $200 to join right now, not $555. I'm going to keep the discount running to the end of the month. So please email me if you want to join that program. It's such a great course. And it's so good to go deeper into the work I do, because I help you shift your energy, your energetic field, as well as give you the information that you need. It's much more focused on you coming into your authentic truth and power than it is on the narcissist, right? So I talk about the narcissist on the YouTube channel, but the work we do in Sovereign is just life-giving. So lots of love. Please keep liking, subscribing and sharing. Thank you for being here, and I'll speak to you soon.